Hi, I'm Nicola McKenzie from DM Mortgages, and today I will be tackling a challenge that many first-time buyers face, and that is bidding wars. When you're in a competitive housing market, making sure that you understand how to navigate a bidding war can be the difference between getting your dream home and missing out. So let's break down some of the strategies and the steps you need to take to come out on top. Stay tuned to find out more. Now, before we get into the detail of today's video, guys, here at DM, we understand that buying your first home is overwhelming, and that is why we've created these videos. They're packed with straightforward guidance to boost your confidence and give you the essential knowledge that you need and help you to avoid common pitfalls. Now, yes, while we're here to give you free resources, our value doesn't just end with these videos. We're also a very experienced team of mortgage advisors, and we're experts at arranging mortgages and personal insurance from a wide range of lenders and insurers and a choice of thousands of products. So if you find this content valuable, then I encourage you to take the next step and head to our website, dm.mortgage, and there you can book a video appointment with a member of our team. And of course, subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, and hit the bell so that you don't miss out on any future content. Now, the first thing that I want us to do is talk about what a bidding war actually is. So let's just get a bit of a basic understanding. So a bidding war is essentially a competitive scenario. So you go and view a property and there's several other potential buyers who are competing for the same property. And each one of them is trying to outbid the other with higher offers. Now, this situation is particularly prevalent in sellers' markets. So that means that there are more buyers than there are available properties. And also, you'll often find bidding wars where a property is listed below market value. Those properties tend to attract a lot of attention. Now, for those of you that are stepping into the housing market for the first time, and I'm guessing that's most, if not all of you watching this video, then the prospect or the thought of a bidding war, I appreciate, it seems daunting. But with the right mindset and preparation, you can navigate these waters successfully. So first and foremost, it's important that you grasp why bidding wars happen. Because from a seller's perspective, a bidding war, they love it, it's ideal, because it not only has the potential to push the sale price above the initial asking price, but it also gives the seller multiple offers to choose from. So that enhances their negotiation position. But for you as the buyer, the challenge lies in making your offer appealing enough to be considered, yet without stretching your budget to a breaking point. So the first tip that I would give you is that preparation is absolutely key. Before you go into any bidding wars, know exactly how much you can afford to spend. And this isn't just about the highest number you can go to, it's really about understanding your financial situation well enough to know what you can realistically manage in terms of monthly payments, taking into account not just the mortgage, but also insurances and maintenance costs as well. So before you even step into the area of bidding wars for your first property, the first step is the preparation process. And that includes securing a mortgage agreement in principle. Now, a mortgage agreement in principle is more than just a certificate. It's a powerful statement from a lender that tells you exactly how much money they are willing to lend you. And that's based on a thorough review of your situation. So having this pre-approval accomplishes two major things. First, it clarifies your budget so you know exactly what homes to look at that you can afford. But secondly, it signals to sellers that you're not just browsing or window shopping. You are ready and you are willing to make a purchase. And this can make you more attractive as a buyer, especially when you're in a competitive market. Now, you need to also remember that getting a decision in principle or a mortgage agreement in principle, as they're often referred to, that's just the beginning. The next really important step is to define your financial boundaries clearly before you even start viewing properties, guys. You need to establish the maximum amount that you're comfortable spending on a property. Now, in part, this spending ceiling, yes, is going to be informed by the amount that your lender's willing to give you, obviously, because if the bank won't say yes, then obviously you're not going to be able to get the property. But you also need to take into account your own personal feelings. Just because a bank tells you you can borrow £400,000, you might not be comfortable with the monthly payments that come with that. So you need to assess your personal feelings on how much you are willing to spend each month on a mortgage, and the future value of the property that you're considering. Have a think about as well, because it's tempting to stretch your budget in the heat of a bidding war. But remember, overextending yourself can lead to significant financial stress and complications down the road. You don't want to overpay for a property and then, like I say, find out in future years that the property is not appreciated quite as much as you would have expected it to. So you need to take these things into account. Now, my next tip in terms of positioning yourself as best as possible in a bidding war is to understand the market and the seller's motivations. So in addition to securing your mortgage agreement in principle or decision in principle, and setting your own financial boundaries, I think it's really important that you've got a solid understanding of the current housing market. So my advice here is to research recent sale prices of other similar properties in that area that you're interested in, because this will give you a realistic idea of what homes are selling for, and that will help you to set a sensible limit on your bids. Furthermore, try to gauge the seller's motivations. I think this is a really important one. Consider the strength of your offer beyond just the price. So, are they looking for a quick sale? Do they value a hassle-free transaction? Sellers are often looking for offers that have a high chance of completing without issues. It's not just necessarily about the highest bidder. So sometimes offering terms that are attractive to the seller. So for example, a flexible completion date if you're a first-time buyer, that can make your bid stand out, even if it's not necessarily the highest. You have to remember that the highest bid is not always the winning bid. Sometimes sellers choose the buyer that they just like the most and think will look after their property, believe it or not. I've seen instances where there are people selling properties and they'll say, I will not, even if the bid comes in higher, I don't want my property to go to an investor, because they feel that it should go to a first-time buyer. People have all sorts of motivations in terms of who they want to take on their property. Again, I went on a viewing with my sister many years ago. She was buying her first property. There was that exact scenario, an investor lined up to buy the property who put in a higher bid. But given that my sister was a first-time buyer, and when we went on the viewing, they really gelled with the seller and we all got on really, really well. They liked her. They decided that they would rather the property go to her. They felt it would be in safer hands. So it really is not always about the highest bid. And that's another tip, actually, when you are on your viewings and if you are communicating with the seller, you want to put yourself forward in the best possible light. As a viewer of this channel, I assume that you're considering purchasing a property in the near future. So it's important for you to know that DM Mortgages are an award-winning team of fully qualified mortgage brokers that provide advice to clients all over the UK. Now, we spend countless hours making free content for YouTube and other social media platforms to help to give you guys sound and useful information to make sure that you're in the best position to make informed decisions. To support this channel when the time comes for you to consider your mortgage options, we want you to book a free online mortgage appointment with a member of our fully qualified mortgage advice team. Because without your help and support, keeping this channel going simply isn't possible. Now, we search thousands of mortgage products from high street and specialist lenders to find the right deal for your circumstances. And we also provide a free will writing service to every DM client. So head over to dm.mortgage and book in for a free mortgage appointment when the time comes. And also make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you find the content useful. But for now, let's get back to the video. Now, my next tip is to strategize your offer. So when you find yourself in a bidding war for your first property, it's really important that you have a strategy, again, to make your offer as appealing as possible to the seller. So beyond just the financial aspect, there are several ways that you can make your bid more attractive. So I've got 3 tips for you here. The first tip is to write a personal letter to the seller. So in this letter, you want to share your genuine feelings about the property, explain what drew you to it, how you see yourself building a future there. This personal touch, it can really resonate with the seller, especially if they have got emotional ties to the property. But I wouldn't just stop there. Point number 2, consider other elements that could make your offer more enticing. So for instance, as mentioned earlier, being flexible with your moving date, that can give you a significant advantage. Sellers might need extra time to vacate the property. So if you're not in a rush, by accommodating their timeline, that can make your offer much more appealing. So make sure that you mention this to the estate agent or to the seller directly if you're able to communicate with the seller when you make your offer. And the third tip is to minimize contingencies. So you don't want to come across as that awkward buyer. Contingencies are conditions that must be met for the sale to proceed. So for example, you will only proceed if there's a satisfactory home inspection. Now, yes, it's important to protect yourself, but reducing unnecessary contingencies can make your offer more straightforward and less risky to the seller. So by personalising your approach, demonstrating flexibility and that you're ready financially, you will increase your chances of winning the bid and securing your first home. And just expanding on the tip that I gave in terms of writing a personal letter, you don't need to start begging for the property. Just be careful with that one. I think there's a fine line between expressing genuine interest and really proving to someone that you really want this property. And then there's a line that you can cross where, quite frankly, it just comes across as a bit creepy. So just be careful with that one. Now, I want to give you a few more tips on how you navigate the bidding war. So when you are, if you are in that situation, I think it can be a mixture of exhilarating and daunting. But I think the key to navigating this situation successfully is also in open and constant communication with the estate agent or with the seller if the seller's selling the property directly to you. But if there is an estate agent involved, that person is more than just a middleman. Agents are not always the most transparent. Bear that in mind as well. You need to be mindful of that. So you do, in some ways, need to keep your cards close to your chest. But they do often have a deep understanding of the market dynamics, and they often have insights that are not readily available to the public. So for example, they might be able to tell you if the seller is under pressure to sell quickly, or if they have a specific timeline that they want to adhere to, or if the highest offer will be the deciding factor for that seller. Now, this information can be crucial because it allows you to tailor your bid in a way that aligns with the seller's priorities, potentially giving you an edge over other bidders. And furthermore, the estate agent can give you up-to-date information on how many offers you're competing against. And this is vital because the number of bidders directly impacts on your strategy. If you know that there are several offers on the table, you might decide to present your best offer up front to stand out. Whereas if there are fewer bidders, you might approach the negotiation with a bit more flexibility because you might have the luxury of having time on your side. So I think it's important to stay disciplined about your budget throughout this process. The excitement and the adrenaline of a bidding war can sometimes lead people to make offers and stretch you beyond your financial limits. But you need to just stay calm and remember that winning at any cost isn't necessarily winning. You need to have a clear understanding of your financial boundaries and be prepared to walk away if the price escalates beyond your budget. There will always be opportunities in the property market, and compromising your financial health for one single property isn't worth the risk. Moreover, I think it's essential to keep your emotions in check as well. Often we get the fear of missing out or FOMO, and this can be a powerful but misleading force. It can drive you to make decisions that are based on emotion rather than logic. And I think that this is a moment to remind yourself that buying a home, yes, it is a significant financial commitment. We can't underestimate that. But it's not just an emotional one. Every decision that you make needs to be grounded in long-term financial well-being, and you need to think about it being a sensible and logical investment. So guys, in summary, yes, bidding wars can be challenging, but they can be successfully navigated with proper preparation and a strategy in place. It's really important not to get swept away by the competitive atmosphere, and don't bid on a property that's more than you can afford or or more than the property's value is to you. So remind yourself there will always be other properties, and it's better to walk away sometimes than, like I say, to win a bidding war but lose financially in the long run. Now at DM Mortgages, we are here to help you every step of the way, from securing your mortgage to giving you advice on bidding strategies. Our team is dedicated to making sure that your first home is as smooth and as successful as possible. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can give you personalised guidance, because yes, while we're here to give you free resources on the channel, our expertise doesn't just end with these videos. We're also a team of experienced mortgage brokers, and we excel at arranging mortgages and insurance. So if you find the content valuable, then I encourage you to take the next step. Head to our website, which is dm.mortgage, and there you can book a video appointment with a member of our team to help to get you onto the property ladder. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. It's just one click, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.